What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Paradise Hulu. Episode 7 and 8. Hey, y'all. Episode 7 and 8 of Paradise was just plain out, straight up good TV. I don't know if y'all watching TV lately, but this is really good television. So if you haven't watched the show up to this point, I mean, if you made it to this episode, child, I done spoiled the whole show for you. But there will be spoilers ahead, so get ready. We're going to talk about episode 7 and episode 8, the season finale. I'm going to waste no time, so let's go ahead and let's get into it. Start off, and we're in the 1962, okay? It's the Cuban Missile Crisis, and you know, they on the radio talking about the Soviets got the nukes and everybody ready to shoot missiles on each other, okay? And the president says no, they could shoot all the stuff off and get it popping, right? But he says no, he's not going to do that, and then he confides in his wife, I think it was his wife, that, you know, this could happen again. You know, there needs to be something where they can, you know, the right person can make this decision, but he don't know if the right person will be in charge the next time this happens. As he leaves out of the room, he flicks the light on and off with a switch. Okay, we don't know what this means. Obviously, I don't know what this means to the end of the episode. Sinatra is telling Collins about it's a nuclear winter out there, you know, that's what they thought. Then they found a survivor, and, you know, she was going to bring the survivor back, so she had to kill him. She had to do what she had to do. They still have the transmitters there that are active, and the survivors are sending messages. So she believes that his wife is one of those people, and then she starts to play the messages, and eventually he hears the message from his wife looking for him. She tells him that the president did something that day. So then we go into this whole episode, which is a flashback of the day of what happened, all the events that happened leading up to this big disaster. And we finally find out what the disaster was as well. So we're in a flashback. So basically this volcano, this super volcano that's underneath the earth, erupted and has caused an avalanche, and it's caused of like an avalanche of like half the glaciers in the world, child. I'm just breaking it down simple, in layman's terms, okay? And then it has caused a tsunami. So it's a 300-foot wave. It's 5 hours from the eastern seaboard. Okay, so it's going all the way from the bottom of the world to the top of the world, basically, and back down. The professor that was ranting and raving, he was on the news basically giving us all I told you so, and it's going to go back and forth about 12 times before that thing is over with. So it's going to be finished when it's done. It's going to be done when it's finished. So it's a light panic going on in the office, okay? You know, throughout the episode, we see Collins checking on his kids. He's checking on his wife. He's trying to make sure that his wife gets, you know, to the airport. You know, eventually we'll find out that his wife needs to get to a certain place, so he's trying to make sure that she gets there, okay? So the VP is coming around the corner. I mean, stumbling, falling all over the ground. Baby, something is wrong. We in danger, girl. Okay, he stumbles into a meeting, and so they're talking about DEFCON 3. This is a bad situation, baby. This is the end of the world, okay? This is it. Like, well, have we talked to the people in Australia? Baby, Australia is gone. And so is half of this place and that place and the other place. He calls it. Versailles is the call. I guess it's the name of the code for, you know, let's go ahead and get on to the end of the world, okay? Collins finds out his wife is still on ATL. They come out the meeting. Like I said, everybody's frantic, and, you know, they preparing for the final step. So there's a new guy that's on the job. He only been in the job for like 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of annoying. He asking a lot of questions, baby. I already knew he was done for. Okay, I knew he was out of here. So they're watching the news, and a lady is, you know, talking about, I guess there's these sonic shock waves that comes in before the tsunami comes in. She's on top of a building. She like, we're so many feet up in the air, you know, we'll be fine if a tsunami hit or whatever. But baby, they wasn't high enough. The shock wave came and knocked her block off, bitch. Two times, and knocked her on out the way, okay? So we see the tsunami coming through. It's coming through a lot faster than they thought it was going to be coming through. Marsha's in the office. Marsha say, listen, I'm not even worried about myself. I just need to make sure that, you know, my child is going to be okay. Okay. He tell the people, get Jeremy, you know, he talked to his kid, and, you know, the phone get disconnected. Staff is going in a light panic. They're starting to pressure Xavier. They're trying to figure out what's going on. He doesn't really know what's going on, okay? And the president is prepping for this message to the public. He sends them everybody out for a few minutes, and he makes them take off their shoes, right? And you remember the thing they have to do to like censor themselves, okay? And no, he tells them that Terry is in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And so he's panicking. On the inside, you can tell that he's really panicking and going through it. And he did such a good job of like showing that to us as an audience, that he had to be composed on the outside, but he's really panicking on the inside. And so, you know, the president is kind of avoiding the conversation. You know, he's saying the general will get her. Don't worry, she'll be fine. Talk to General Dobbins. Goes to talk to General Dobbins, and they put out an APB. You know, they're like, we'll get her to the Dobbins Airport Base, or whatever it is in Atlanta. The president records a message basically saying the countries are fighting for nuclear missiles. The scientist from the seminar is going off on the news. Like I said, he let everybody know, I told you so. Okay, he gets his wife on the phone. She does not have a car. He tells her, baby, steal a car. I need you to get to where I need you to get to, okay? And then, like I said, Marsha says, please, can you save my son, Edward? I don't care about me. You ain't going to tell me what's going on. I got to save my son, Edward. So, in turn, the president is doing what Collins is doing to Marsha as you watch the episode, because he can't tell her what's going on. She's not going, baby. She's not going. He's not going to tell her she's not going, okay? He's just trying to tell everybody to be calm. He's trying to do his job, right? So it's the same thing that he's doing to Marsha that the president is doing to him. Okay, I think the president knows that his wife is not going to make it. I think the president knows that he needs Xavier. Xavier is the only person that he can trust. And if Xavier knew that his wife was out there and there's a possibility that she was alive, that Xavier will go down there and get his damn wife. Okay, and I don't think he wanted that. Okay, they're getting ready to go to the plane now. Okay, so it's chaos. The news say they're going to stay on until, the news go away, baby. They're going to stay on till it is what it is. They go out, the maintenance man is just, cleaning up like he normally clean up. And he basically says, these things happen all the time, sir. I've been here a long time, and, they come, they going to go. Everything going to go back to normal pretty soon. And he says, baby, I don't think this is the time. I think you might want to go and see your family. The president turns around and says, this is not right. Put me on live television. I got to tell these people what's the truth. He got to tell these people what's going on. He has to tell these people what's up so that he can say goodbye. Okay. And he kicks everybody in the room, and he tells them, do not leave until he come back. Okay. So he tells the new guy to get ready because it's about to go down. They put him on air, and he gives the people a message. He gives them the real deal. The world is finna end. Say goodbye to your friends and family. Get ready to leave. Prepare, because baby is coming. The world is about to end. He apologizes to everyone. Okay, he leaves out of the room. They leave Marsha and them in the office, and she like Edward at the gate. And he like, baby, you need to go home, because you ain't going to make it. You and Edward go home and hug your baby and just go on to glory together. Okay? And she's like, what in the hell? So now a riot. They on the yard. They on the lawn. You know what I'm saying? They pull out the guns, and then they start shooting them, y'all. They start shooting the people, child. They gets on the plane, start shooting everybody. And the new guy, he's trying to get on the plane, and he like, bro, you cannot get on this plane. You got to stay here and guard the lawn. And he like, hell no, I'm getting on the plane. And so then he have to shoot him. But no, he goes to shoot him, but boss shoot him. Okay, Nicole actually shoots him. So yeah, and they get on the plane, and that's it. His wife, he doesn't know if his wife has been left behind. I think at some point during this episode, okay, I stopped taking notes because it was so good. We see Xavier talking to his wife on the phone, and basically they're giving each other the goodbyes because she said she tried to make it, but she could not make it. They get on the plane. That's what it is. After they on the plane, the president gives him a phone, and he's able to reach out and talk to her. And she basically says, listen, I tried to make it, but I'm not going to make it. And they say their goodbyes, and he literally watches her, Atlanta get taken over by the tsunami that happened. So he assumes that she dies because he loses connection with her. Okay. So we find out later on in that episode that, the people on the, everybody all over the world, now that the world is ending, you're going to be fighting for resources, right? If that happened in real life, we would start shooting nukes on each other and having war, because now we have little resources, and we all got to fight over these same resources in the world, right? So it's already starting to happen. The people are sending the nukes. So the president can make a decision. He has the red button. He can send off all the nuclear weapons and basically and effectively end the world. Send us into a nuclear winter for however long, right? For the rest of the centuries. Or he has a switch, like the switch at the beginning of the movie, where effectively he can turn the switch off and turn off every transmitter in the whole wide world, basically saying, there'll be no way that will set the country back 100 years as far as technology goes, but it will give people a chance to live. It will give people a fighting chance. So he has already made his decision. By the time Sinatra get there, they egging him on. Like I said, the Congress or the generals are egging him on to do it. But he's already made his decision. Baby, I'm not finna blow up the whole world for y'all. I'm not doing that. Okay? And I was 100% with Cal. Like, play with your mama. I'm not finna blow up the whole world. It's a chance that man wife might be out there. Although I did some shady to get him on here because she might not be alive, I'm still going to stand on business, and I'm not going to just end the whole world. I'm not going to do that. If somebody's going to do that, that's not going to be me. And he stood on business. And he said if she come over here, Sinatra was up in that room trying to pressure him and trying to bully him, okay? But he said, no, baby. If she come over here, shoot her. Shoot her, baby. Because I'm not finna blow up the whole world for you, ho. He not. He wasn't about to do that. And he did not do that. So the world did not blow up. We all lived to see another day. Yay. That was episode 7. Great episode. Fabulous TV. One of the best episodes of television I have ever seen in my entire life. The show was so freaking good. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. Okay? Y'all did that. Episode 8 was basically an amalgamation of him trying to figure out how to get back to his wife. We find out who murdered Cal. We found out all of those things in the story, and they kind of like tie up the storyline for us. And the show has got renewed for a second season, so they're leaving us a little open storyline at the end of the show to say, hey, he's going to go find his wife. Okay, so long story short, he's going to go find his wife. At the end of episode 7, Sinatra had his daughter, or maybe that was episode 6. But anyway, his daughter ended up getting out of the situation. At the end of episode 7, Jane is the one who had the daughter, and we thought that she was going to do something bad to the daughter, but she talked to Sinatra, and she asked Sinatra for a PlayStation or something like that, or a Wii, and she said no. I don't know. That whole thing was weird. Somebody make sense of that for me. Did that make sense to y'all? I didn't really get that whole thing. But she kept Sinatra alive for whatever reason. We don't know what's going on in Jane's mind. So she basically saves Jane from Xavier, who was about to take her out. Okay, take her on out. She saves her at the last minute, but she shoots her in the throat. So it's going to be a long recovery for that situation, right? Then we also find out who killed Cal. Come to find out, at the beginning of the episode, there's a man who worked at the excavation of what is now Paradise. He had a crew, and him and his crew really became close. They became family. He became really good friends with this one particular man who was sending money back to his family in an African country. I don't know which one. Okay, so he found out that there was a chemical inside of the situation that eventually, as the excavation happened, will become non-toxic, but it was toxic as you was excavating it when you first find it. So the people was going to get sick and die. And so instead of doing something about that, they just fired him the next day. They said, you know what, go ahead and clock out, baby. Go ahead and clock out. Don't even worry about coming back tomorrow. Okay, you good. Okay. So the company let him go. And so he tried to warn people about it. He tried to tell his co-workers about it, but eventually they got sick and died, and he went to jail because, well, he tried to tell people about it, and eventually he was the person who tried to assassinate the president. Okay, so the president is taking the blame for all this, and the president is really not the person who is behind this. He's just a figurehead for it. It is really Samantha, who is behind all of this. But he believes that it is the president's fault, so he tries to shoot the president, and he goes to jail. He calls his friend that he used to work with, and that friend is dying. Okay, so I don't know why the friend was necessarily mad at him, or maybe he was just tired of hearing from him, because he did try to tell him, about the situation. So anyways, he ends up escaping from jail. They have a riot, and that just so happens to be that he is in Colorado where all this is going down. That's why he was calling a friend. And he pretends to be a police officer, kind of makes his way through the crowd as the disaster is happening and people are trying to get their butt out there to Paradise. Okay, he sees who the librarian and the librarian's wife are trying to get to Paradise. Okay, and he tells them there's another way on foot they can go, but blah 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 blah, and they get out the car and then they go, and then he shoots both of them, and he takes his identity. He kind of makes himself to look like him, and he becomes the librarian. Okay, so he had to complete his mission once he saw Cal come into the library that night to do the when he was placing all the clues everywhere. Okay, so he came in there. Once he came in there and saw him, he knew that he had to complete his mission. Okay, and so that's when he decided that he was going to kill Cal. So prior to this, I know I'm all over the place, y'all, but like I said, I didn't take any notes, so this is off the dome. Collins had came into the library and he remembered that number. You remember that number? That number was a library number, Dewey Decimal System, and there was a book about Sinatra, and it had a way to get to the other side. It had correspondence with Sinatra and Billy about killing the lady. So he had meticulously wrote this stuff down, put it in a book, and put it in that place. The librarian peeped this, and knocked him over the back of the head. And then we get to the manifesto speech. Okay, so the manifesto speech. Once he saw him in the library that night, he knew he had to complete his mission. So he snuck into the White House. He got, into the room. He busted him over the head. Cal fought back a little bit, and he was getting up, and the man was like looking over his shoulder. He wasn't paying attention. And so Cal came back up for a second, and he hit him again. And once he hit him again, he was dead. Okay, Cal made sure to get the cigarette and put the cigarettes on the counter before he passed away. I think Cal knew that his time was coming. The mission was complete. And then he said he was going to take what he knows now, and now he has to go back to the real world so he can tell everybody about it. Okay, now it was another girl too. I'm going to get to that in a second. He runs away, and police come later, and they chase him on up to the top of Paradise, and he jumps off and he unalives himself. He gonna land on somebody's roof. Okay, so the whole illusion of Paradise is slowly falling away. Okay, now his partner, the wife, also was the waitress at the restaurant, and Boston them had figured that out. Okay, so they had kind of split, doing different things, and Boston them had figured out that she was the imposter as well. Okay, and she was the one who did, I forgot what she did, but she had did something. She said that he made her do it. Okay, the librarian boyfriend. We see in the backstory that when he was walking up and down the street, he started talking to her, and he was like, you might be in the right place at the right time, or something like that, the wrong place at the right time, or something like that. I don't know. So that's how she got roped into the whole scheme. While we see this, we see that young Jeremy is an activist. He is out here. He got a crowd that's coming to see him on the back of a truck talk like Martin Luther King. Sermon on the Mount like Jesus. Okay? He's going to lead the people to the truth. All right? And after all the things have happened, Xavier has figured his way. He done crawled up in the hall or something. And he's in there. And he looks at the thing, the paper, the direcciones. And he flying his ass up out of Paradise because he finna go get his wife. He finna do something. He finna let the people know what's over there. What's going on? Are the people alive? They say you could breathe. It's crazy. The only question I have about this whole thing is that he turned the switch so that you couldn't have no electronics ever in America. Okay, or they would set them back to where you didn't have no electronics. So how do they have the transmitters and the transmitters work and people are able to send messages? How was they able to do that? Or did they just refigure out electricity because we're still the people we are, right? We have the knowledge that we have. So maybe they just remade electricity again. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody make that make sense for me. That part don't really make no sense for me. Like, how y'all getting messages if he set us back 100 years and there's no electricity, there's no, I don't. Or maybe they left transmitters on. Maybe that's what she said. They left the transmitters on Earth so that they could hear what was going on. And then now it's picking up messages from other people. Or people are finding them. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. So overall, this was a great season. It was a good, suspenseful, drama, love, lust. I got to see Sterling K. Brown booty. I mean, everything like it gave. Okay? This was a good episode, good season. I loved it. I want to hear your thoughts about it. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll holler at you guys on the next one. Peace.